Yo, what's good, everybody? My name is Cosmic, and I want to welcome you to my channel, Opinion Stated, where I give unfiltered, opinionated sports takes. Let's go. Yo, what's good, everybody? My name is Cosmic. I want to welcome you back to my channel, Opinion Stated, and I have a fun episode planned for you today. We are deeply enthralled in the 2025 NBA playoffs. This is along the series of these videos or episodes being produced for content's sakes. Man, the second round of the NBA playoffs is underway in dramatic fashion. Kicked off on Sunday when the Indiana Pacers squared off against the Cleveland Cavaliers. I'll get into the details and specifics of exactly what has been transpiring, not only in that game, but also we saw Boston face off against New York last night. We saw Denver square off against the number one team in the league, the Oklahoma City Thunder, last night. I'm going to dive into all of these matchups and the results. But before I do so, please do me a huge favor. If you haven't done so already, like this video. Liking the video helps us cruise along Algorithm Avenue, helps us get into the presence of individuals such as yourself who might be looking for this kind of content. Also, subscribe to the channel. Very close to achieving our first 500 subscriber milestone. And right now, the algorithm on YouTube is hating on your boys. So, man, definitely make sure that you like, engage in the content as well. Your comments and opinions are definitely welcome down there in the comment section. Even if I don't agree with them, even if you don't agree with mine, just fill up, the comment section with engagement. So, without further ado, I want to dive right into this content, and I am going to entitle today's episode NBA Playoff Second Round Upset City. And so let's talk about some upsets. And, for the most part, when these series, take place, the home team, the team with home court advantage is expected to win, to hold home court, to win at home. You know what I mean? So they get the first two games at home and the first two games on the road, and they come back and they kind of bounce from home to road and back home if they have home court advantage. And so the home team is expected to win at home. They're expected to hold court. They're expected to defend home turf. But that is not what happened that is not what has been happening thus far as the second round kicked off. As I alluded to before, the second round of the 2025 NBA playoffs kicked off in dramatic fashion on Sunday afternoon, where the Indiana Pacers squared off against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Cleveland Cavaliers, the number one seed in the Eastern Conference. The Indiana Pacers were the number 4 seed. And Indiana would actually upset Cleveland in that opener, and I didn't see that coming. I said it in the previous episode that I expected the Pacers to take 2 games off of Cleveland in the series, but I didn't know that one of 2 games would be that game. Like, I had no idea. And I was, while pleasantly surprised, I was actually shocked as well, but pleasantly surprised, I'll say, because, this should definitely create a spirit of more competition, as the Cavaliers, it's a long series, it's the best of 7, but the Cavaliers should feel like, especially being the heavy favorite, like, man, their back is against the wall a little, so they got to come out and take care of business tonight when that game takes place. Game 2 being, but let's focus on game 1 here. 121 to 112 win for the Indiana Pacers. I want to dive just a little bit into the box scores. And so let's take a look at that. The box score for Indiana went as follows. So again, Indiana put up 121 points. They grabbed a total 43 rebounds as a team, 30 assists dished out on 53% shooting, 52.8% from the 3-point distance. And Pascal Siakam chipped in 17 points in this game. Aaron Nesmith chipped in 17 as well. But that's 17 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists for Pascal Siakam. Nesmith, 17 points, 8 rebounds. He would chip in. Turner, Miles Turner is a really weird play, man. But he had 13 points and 11 rebounds. I just feel like for the upside that I felt like Miles Turner had years ago. I don't know where he was even caught celebrating the fact that he wasn't traded before the trade deadline this year, which I thought was really strange. I'm like, bro, where's your confidence? Where's your passion for the game? But 13 points and 11 rebounds in this game for Miles Turner. Uh, Andrew Nembhard had 23 points and 6 assists. So Nembhard and Nesmith definitely, man, stepped up and played pivotal roles. Tyrese Halliburton, 22 points, 11 assists, and 3 rebounds in the game. Ben Mathurin chipped in 11 points off the bench, and a few. TJ McConnell, 7 off the bench, and Obi Toppin, 7 off the bench. So just a really, really, really solid, game for the Pacers, obviously, to come out and to steal this game. And so I just wanted to kind of dig into that. They shot 44 of 83 total shots from the field for that 53%, and 19 of 36 for that 52.6 from three. Just a remarkable showing for a team that came out, really with nothing to lose in the game because they were expected to lose the game. They came out and flipped the script, man. So shout out to, excuse me, Tyrese Halliburton and the Indiana Pacers, man. Those guys for getting it done. Let's take a look at what Cleveland was able to conjure up statistically in this game. 112 points total they'd scored. They grabbed 43 rebounds as a team, dish out 25 assists on 45.9% shooting and 23.7% from three. That's literally 9 of 38 they shot in this game. Like, you can't win a game shooting 9 for 38. Not in this heavy 3-point focused, kind of an offensive league these days. So they got up a total of 98 shots, shot 45 of 98 for that 45.9%. But just not a very good game, overall for this team to lose by 9 points. You know what I mean, here in the second round opener. But Evan Mobley scored 20 points. Jared Allen chipped in 12 and 5. Just 5 rebounds for Jared Allen was actually a shock. 20 points and 10 rebounds for for Evan Mobley, who would then, I believe, yesterday be named as the Defensive Player of the Year. So congratulations to him, or maybe it was the day before. Maybe it was on Sunday, and that's kind of how I missed it. But congratulations to Evan Mobley on his achievement of that honor. 33 points in the game for Donovan Mitchell, 33 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists to be exact. And Max Strus and Sam Merrill were inserted into the starting lineup because, oddly enough, Darius Garland didn't play in this game. And so that's almost, for me, enough to not panic about Cleveland losing the game. It's it's a shocker to a degree, but I'm like, well, Darius Garland's not even suited up. And so if they're full strength and the Pacers are handling, you know what I mean, manhandling them out there, then it's man, they really may have a problem in Cleveland. DeAndre Hunter chipped in 11 points, 4 rebounds off the bench, and Ty Jerome 21 points, off the bench. Ty Jerome was out there, gunning, man. Ty Jerome took 20 shots in the game. He took more shots than Evan Mobley. He took 7 more shots than Evan Mobley. Ty Jerome. Ty Jerome came in the game gunning. He's like, man, look, no Darius Garland today. I'm jacking up some shots. But yeah, shocking that the number 1 seed, man, would lose in that game. And that was on Sunday afternoon. So the subsequent round 2 games wouldn't take place until Monday, which was yesterday. And they would follow suit. First game up was the Boston Celtics, who took on the the New York Knicks. And we could see that, man, New York really, really, really put in work here. So they actually going to win this game by 1 point, 108 to, I'm sorry, by 3 points here, 108 to 105. And, Boston, I could say a lot about Boston, you know what I mean? But I kind of want to hold my commentary until I play a sound clip for you. So last night after the game was over, I left the sports bar. I headed home, and I was going to produce an episode at that point, but I'd had a couple of drinks. I was like, man, I'm not I'm not jumping on camera. You know what I mean? I was a little tipsy, but and shout out to the games for being so good, because we just had the waitress continue to bring us drinks, man, because the games were so intriguing. But I did tune into Sports T. Shout out to Don from Sports T. she and Mel from Man Down Sports were doing a live, and so I tapped in with their live, and I just clipped a little bit of that live that I wanted to share here. So I'm going to do that really quickly, and then I'll come back and I'll offer additional commentary on top of this. Let's take a listen.
I guess we can move on, Mel, if nobody wants to talk about Knicks versus Celtics. Where's Bruce? I guess you know what it is? It's probably late, and Bruce probably cried himself to sleep
Shout out to my man
because
Bruce
the
from the Format
Celtics
Podcast.
and Jason Tatum completely shit the bed.
Man,
Well, this is
super,
a
super
bad night to be
duper
a fan, boy.
C's fan.
Isn't
I
it?
tell you, man.
Oh, my Celtic, one of my best friends that's a Celtic fan, he tweeted out, he was like, 60 effing threes.
63s is wild,
Diabolical.
man. Godly 63s is wild. Man, I know they kicking themselves in the foot, but nobody is kicking themselves in the butt quite like the Thunder, man. They choked tonight, right? They
I
controlled
know.
the entire game.
Oh, look, Q is
Yeah,
actually calling
we'll go
in.
back. Okay.
Take this one last call. It's Q from Opinion Stated. Talk to us nice, Q.
Don, what's good?
How's it going?
you are a bully. You're a bully. You made me call in.
Yeah, we need
What's
to know
good,
what you
Mel?
think.
Mel's father.
Call me up.
What's good, big dog?
Yeah, I was just listening in, man. I appreciate y'all for doing your thing. I do feel appalled by the 63s. I want to say too. I was shocked. I was like, yo, did that graphic just say they missed 45 threes in this game, bro? But it's not surprising because I've watched this the entire time. And I watched the game tonight with my buddies. You know, we're at a sports bar, and I was telling them, I said, man, you know what? The thing about Boston is simple, and I've watched it so many times this season. It doesn't matter if they're up 20, if they're up 30, if they're down 2. Boston is going to keep shooting threes, so they will allow a team to get back into the game. It's just how they play. They don't change it up. They don't nurse the lead. They don't, you know what I mean? They don't try to run schemes that help them pad the lead and keep it and protect it. They just play the way that they play. And it's disgusting. It's despicable, bro. But one of my buddies said something to me that was like kind of jarring because I was just kind of doing the same thing that Mel was doing, like, bro, like 63s, bro. And then my buddy said, but they only lost by 3. And I'm like, yo, that's crazy to shoot 25% from 3, to literally miss 45 threes, and to still only lose by 3 is banana.
I mean, they the better team. They really feel like that they could just play around like that, man. They really feel like they can waste games and waste quarters and stuff
I feel like
like that.
they've been
They
playing
really feel like
all season for some reason. It just seems like they haven't hit that.
They haven't hit that go button. The audio kind of synced out there, but they haven't hit that go button, it seems to me.
Missed like 6 or 7 straight and not attempt to take the ball to the basket, but one time was kind of jarring to me. I was saying, you know, it's interesting that he's, you know, this Mamba mentality, like Kobe's this guy. He wore the Kobe wristband a couple seasons ago, sweatband a couple seasons ago, to say that, you know what I mean, like in memory of Kobe. But I was saying in like this first half of this game that like Jason Tatum just doesn't have that killer instinct to me. He doesn't have that killer mentality either. And that's like that's the turning of the page for me that I feel like is missing for him. So I don't think he could ever be considered like the face of the league, but he just doesn't. It's that je ne sais quoi. You know what I mean? It's that I don't know, but whatever it is, he ain't got it. You know what I'm saying? He just doesn't have it. He doesn't have it. But it was a great game tonight, man. Both games were fire. I really enjoyed watching the Knicks, you know, steal this game. I will definitely say, man, people better put some respect on Jalen Brunson's name. That boy is a killer, man, and he continues to show up in the big moments. He puts that team on his back, knee injury, sore knee, hurt ankle. You know what I mean? Back spasms. He doesn't care, man. This dude's a baller. He's a gamer.
How much respect he's supposed to have on his name? Like what? Like if you was to rank him in the league by his position, where you got him at? Out of the point guards, and don't include Luka because I think Luka's a small forward. But out of the point guards, where you got?
No, Luka's small. In terms of just a point guard, I just put him on point guard status, not just somebody who's kind of orchestrating the offense. So I understand what you're asking, but I would say he's got to be. Let me see, man. Who else? Let me put him in a good point guard order here. He's got to be top 5 point guards in the league.
Top 5.
And I don't think he gets that kind of respect.
I think he do though. He's an all-star, right?
Well, for the first time, this season.
Yeah, I mean,
I think he flies under the radar with regards to like how people respect him. You know what I mean? I just feel like even when I say people, I mean like the commentators. Even I don't think they really give him the respect that they should as a person, like a player of his caliber. You know what I mean? Okay. As far as acknowledgement, he was an all-star this season finally. You know what I mean? But I don't think that he's talked because even on like the sports channels, like the mainstream ones, I'm saying, like, you know, First Things First and all those, they were not even wanting to give him star respect. Like, he's not a star. He's not a.
They disrespect Brunson and the Knicks all the time, and that's fine. But
all the time. It's really weird.
Guess where the Knicks are, and guess where Nick Wrong's favorite team is right now?
home. Did you hear Nick Wright today say that Cat was more accomplished than Jaylen Brown? I was like, come on, bro. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. Jaylen Brown's won a Finals MVP, bro. What are you talking about? What are you saying here?
How do we keep listening to this guy?
I don't even know. I don't even know what's discussing. That's why I'm grateful for you all. I'm grateful for all the you know, the independent creators on YouTube, man. You guys have helped to keep me sane all season. This is the most. I mean, I've been avid basketball fan, man, for 40 plus years of my life, but I feel like this is the most engaged and the most fun I've had viewing basketball games, listening to other people's insights, man. The independent creators such as yourselves, man. You guys are making basketball great again, as I always like to say. So keep up the great work. I'm interested in hearing this next subject. So, man, I'm gonna go ahead and end this call. I'll jump back in if I need to. Dom, stop being a bully. You know what I'm saying?
Thanks a lot, Q. Thanks for calling in.
Yeah, respect.
All righty.
So yeah, so I wanted to you know, just kind of play that audio clip really quick, and before I dive into again the results from this 105 to 108 you know, victory that the Knicks you know, captured versus the Celtics. Going in, shout out to, before I even do this, shout out to once again Don from Sports T and Mel from Man Down Sports. If you don't follow their channels, man, definitely do so. Their insights are incredible. The content that they create is incredible, and they churn out you know, far more content than I do, like a machine. So I'm trying to get on their level, I promise. But yeah, I always enjoy their content, so it's always good to be able to, you know, phone in and chat it up with them, man, whenever I can. But again, let's take a look at the Knicks here and what the Knicks were able to do. They put up 108 total points in this game, grabbed 49 boards, dished out only 19 assists, as a team, which is a bit odd. However, you know, they got the job done in this game on 42.5% shooting from the field, 45.9% from three. So they lit it up a bit, 17 of 37 to be exact from three in this game. And they got up 87 shots in the game and hit 37 total. So it wasn't really a proficient shooting night from them. What I actually saw from the Knicks that I really, really love and that I've always enjoyed about the Knicks is that the Knicks team, especially this team, I kind of watched this down the stretch of the season, especially, they have an identity. They have an identity on defense. And when you have the Josh Harts who step in and he's barking at everybody, you know what I mean? So he's kind of taking on the Draymond role for the Knicks. And they kind of buy in with that kind of a personality. It seems to be the culture there in New York, and so it's that New York, you know what I mean? And so they really played really, you know, solid and gritty down the stretch, which definitely benefited them long term as the game, you know, progressed and it kind of waned, and they, you know, they just proved to be too much for the Celtics. But like I said about the Celtics, man, the Celtics will let you back into the game. You know what I mean? It's just kind of what they do. But shout out to Jalen Brunson, who scored 29 points in this game, tied as, you know, leading scorer in this game as a Knick with 29 points, 4 rebounds, and 5 assists. So only 5 assists for him in the game. 29 points also in the game, surprisingly, for OG Anunoby. OG Anunoby was out there balling. And I felt like OG Anunoby would have a great game in this series because, to me, I'm like, well, who guards OG kind of presents a bit of a matchup problem for them. And, you know, because he's kind of like a tween small power forward. Really, he's power forward sized. but he kind of fits like even like old school, like small forward size for some of those smalls back in the day, like McKee and some of the others that played for Indiana back in the day. So he's kind of like same body size, same body type. But yeah, OG Anunoby, man, had a great game. He shot 10 of 20 from the field, 6 of 11 from three, to get that 29 points, rather 4 rebounds, 3 assists in the game. Also, just 8 points for Mikal Bridges. Poor showing for him, but 14 points apiece for both Josh Hart and Cat, and 13 and 11 in terms of the rebound count for them both, for the both of them respectively. So they collectively, being Karl Anthony Towns and Josh Hart, scored 27 points and grabbed 24 rebounds between them. 11 points off the bench for Deuce McBride. And that was, you know what I mean, for the most part, the scoring. They chip in another 3 points for Mitchell Robinson, and that's their 108 points. So yeah, just kudos to the Knicks, man. It was a great game, from what I saw. But again, that defensive output, being able to kind of step up and kind of keep Boston in check for the most part. Boston fell in love with the three, and the old saying, it's the old saying, and it's still, a timeless saying for a reason. You live by the three, you die by the three. And Boston certainly died by the three last night, going straight into it, man. 105 total points they put up. They snagged 59 rebounds as a team, which is crazy. That's 10 more rebounds than the Knicks were able to grab, but 59 total rebounds as a team, 1 less assist. There was a lot of ISO one-on-one being played on both sides. You know what I mean? They were just letting it fly. But only 18 assists in the game for the C's on 35.1% shooting for the game and 25% from three. It's hard to beat anybody in the league shooting that poorly from the field and also from three. Speaking of the field, they shot 34 for 97. They got up 97 shots in this game. 97 shots, bro. They get up in this game and they only hit 34 of them. 34. 15 of the 34 shots that they hit were threes. 15 of the 34 were threes, bro. That's only 19 of 97 shots made were from 2-point range. I was really frustrated watching this game, not because of the excessive amount of threes. I had no idea how many threes they had actually shot in the game. So it's not even like I was saying to myself, like, yo, this is just a 3-point shooting contest. I was frustrated when I saw Jason Tatum continue to come down. And like I said in the audio, he literally came down a shot like and missed like 7 straight. Wouldn't pass the ball to anybody else. Wouldn't just put his head down and go to the basket. I felt like he kind of had a step on the defender a couple times and just preferred to step back out, toward 3-point, land and let one fly. And I'm like, bro, take the ball to the basket. I'm like, what's happening here? Do twos not matter? I mean, you got to see the ball go in. Shoot a mid-range after you see the ball go down. Maybe it gets you psychologically into the space where you're like, all right, I saw it go down. Now I can get into a little rhythm. But to just keep jacking up threes and, as they say, shoot your way out of a slump, man, it's crazy. It's bananas. I've never subscribed to that. As long as I've been a ball player, like, man, if I'm not hitting from deep, I'm taking it inside. I'm gonna get my confidence from like going inside and seeing it go down a couple times, and then, you know what I mean. Let's see if we can't stretch back out and sink a couple. But yeah, I was more frustrated with that. But anyway, they go on to shoot 60 total threes. The graphic flashed on the screen at some point. He said that they missed 45 threes, and I thought it was a typo. I had to look at it again. I was like, I'm looking at that wrong. There's no way they missed 45 threes in this game and set an NBA record for most missed threes in a playoff game. Like, and I was like, bro, and I grabbed my phone and looked at looked at ESPN to see the stats really quick. And I was like, bro, they've shot 15 for 60. That's crazy. That's horrible. They deserve to lose that game. They deserve to lose that game. They deserved to lose that game. Shout out to the Knicks for the upset. And then, man, we saw the Nuggets square off against the Thunder, the number 1 seed. Thunder took on the number 7 seed, I believe it is. No, I'm sorry. They are the number 5. They're of that 4-5. So took on the number 5 seed Denver Nuggets, and yeah, man, Denver came ready to play, and Denver trailed by 20 points or so in this game at some point, and or close to it in the first half, and then they walked it down to 10 by halftime, cut it in half to 5 by the end of the third. And I was like, man, I told my buddies as we were sitting at the sports bar watching the game, like, man, all they got to do is win this quarter in the same fashion that they won that one. They would at least go to overtime, but they win it outwardly. You know what I mean? They win it by 7. And so, you know, Jokic, man, just had a phenomenal game. 42 points, 22 rebounds. In this 121 point scored for the Denver Nuggets. 63 rebounds were snagged by this team. Crazy 63 rebounds, 18 assists dished out on 44.2% shooting and 31.3% shooting from 3. So it wasn't even like they shot lights out from 3. In fact, they only shot 10 for 32. They're a horrible 3-point shooting team by all metrics. They're like Houston. They suck from 3. They get hot, they can knock some down. They seem to hit them at the most critical points last night, which is good for them. But they're not a very good 3-point shooting team. Like, nobody's afraid on any night of Denver, you know what I mean, from 3. They just seem to hit the most timely threes when they need them. But I'm shocked that they jack up so many. But I guess give yourself a chance to to make more by shooting more, according to the advanced analytics and, you know, common logic in the league. But I just don't subscribe to shooting this much from out there when you're not making them. You know what I'm saying? But that's neither here nor there. 42 points, like I said, once again for Jokic. 22 rebounds. He shot 15 of 29 from the field, 2 of 6 from 3. Grabbed 22 rebounds, dished out 6 assists. 22 points for Aaron Gordon, who saved the day at the end with a splash 3 from the corner. 14 rebounds, 1 assist for him. 21 points in the game for Jamal Murray, 6 and 6, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. 11 points for Christian Brown, who took over as or in the starting lineup. Took over down the stretch there, but he would have a phenomenal game. 11 points, 13 rebounds. He and Russell Westbrook. Russell off the bench contributed 18 points. I feel like Russ, he had a couple crazy ass turnovers in there that I was really annoyed by. But that's just Russ. Russ is like Brett Favre to me. He's like the Brett Favre of the NBA. He's always forcing some shit that's really reckless. But when it works, it works. But when it doesn't, you're like, bro, what are you thinking? And so he tried to squeeze a couple passes in the lane, you know, in a heavily populated lane, traffic, crazy, and they led to turnovers. But Russ also forced some turnovers, and man, just grown man, a couple baskets going downhill. Got an and 1 or 2, which really helped out. I was happy to see him step up and hit a mid-range jumper, and I feel like if Russell would have added that mid-range to his game, like a fluid mid-range jump shot over the years, man, Russell, he definitely would have been a whole lot better as a pro. But shout out to Russell Westbrook. That's pretty much, you know, the tail of the tape from a box score perspective. Again, Denver capitalized off of, maybe some would say, the refs and a couple questionable calls. I think Jokic could have fouled out in this game, or should have fouled out in this game at the 5-minute mark by fouling Chet on the arm, but it wasn't called. You're not going to foul out the superstar in the playoffs with 5 minutes to go. It's bad for ratings. It's bad for, you know what I mean, like business from a televised product standpoint. But fair is fair. Foul his ass out. I think if Jokic had fouled out, obviously we know what the plus-minus situation looks like, or differential looks like, when Jokic is not on the court versus when he is on the court. So Denver may have been in trouble, you know what I mean, like down the stretch for that last 5 minutes, or they may have actually won by more. Who knows what may have happened, but we'll never know because the refs did not call the foul on Jokic at that point. But again, I was saying that Denver really just took advantage of the young Oklahoma City Thunder team not closing the door on them. They just kind of were like, they were kind of coasting through, content with like being up a bit, like they could just turn it on whenever they wanted to, like close the door on the Nuggets. And they unfortunately were just unable to as the game unfolded. 119 points they put up in this game. Again, 43 rebounds they snagged down, 27 assists on 42% shooting, 34.9% from 3. Almost abysmal from 3 for them too. I'm not sure what their season average is, but I know it's got to be greater than 35%. I would just imagine that it's greater than 35%. But 15 of 43 they shot from 3 in the game. They get up 100 shots, oddly enough, in in the game, and they knocked down 42 of them, obviously, for that round 42%. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, man, 33 points, 10 rebounds, and 8 assists, almost a triple-double for him on 12 of 26 shooting from the field. At 33, 10 and 8 just wasn't enough. 14 points for Lou Dort. Lou Dort being Lou Dort, 4 of 9 from 3 in the game for him. All of his shots were from 3, knocked down 2 free throws as well. 12 points in the game for Isaiah Hartenstein, 9 rebounds, 1 assist. 16 points in the game for Jalen Williams. Jalen Williams provided some scoring late there through the third quarter, early fourth quarter. I feel like, it looked like he had like 5 points or something like that at halftime. And he just went on a tear of his own to amass the remaining of his points. But 7 rebounds, 4 assists to fill out his stat line. 5 of 20 shooting from the field, so he didn't shoot well at all. 5-11 from the field for Chet Holmgren, who chipped in 12.6 rebounds, 20 points off the bench for Alex Caruso. Caruso was the story, I want to say, through the first half. Had a lot of really, really good defensive plays. Got a lot of steals out in the open court. Really active hands. We know that's one of the I would say like characteristics of Caruso. That can be spoken of highly about is that he just has very active hands. You know what I mean? And he definitely shows up to play defense. But 7 of 12 shooting from the field for him. 5 of 19 from 3. 6 assists that he dish out also. And the Oklahoma City Thunder seem to have this game in control, man. But Denver wouldn't relent. Well, what's funny, most funny, I guess I would say to me about Denver and the way that they've been playing of late. It's crazy that Mike Malone was fired. The head coach, Mike Malone, was fired. Longtime coach of the Denver Nuggets was fired. Championship coach Mike Malone was fired. And Denver's playing this well under Adelman. You know what I mean? I feel like that kind of a shift could either shake a team up negatively, like wholly impact them negatively, or positively the way that it is. So, shout out to Adelman for basically securing a job here. It looks like he's gotten through one series and out the gate early to steal a game in game 1 of round 2. The party ain't done. The party ain't done, man. We got game 1 of the Warriors and Timberwolves tonight. I'm very excited about this game. I'm incredibly excited about this game, as a matter of fact. And I'm excited for this reason and this reason. Well, these reasons, I'll say, and these reasons alone. The Warriors, clearly, man, are led by, Wardell, Steph, and Curry, right? It would be great to see Steph get another ring. It really would. You know what I mean? Like, I would really be happy with Steph getting another ring. It's a really good storyline. That would also make Steph the winningest player of this era if he was to get another ring. We'll give him 5. 1 more than LeBron James. We'll make him the winningest player within this era. And obviously, I would love to see Jimmy Butler get a ring. You know what I'm saying? I would love to see Jimmy get a ring also, because Jimmy has helped to lead, teams from obscurity to, being relevant. He got Miami to the finals a couple times, knocking off, Giannis and those boys when he was in the Eastern Conference. So I would love to see, and the storyline's been building. He's been playing great with them. He's helped to galvanize him in a lot of ways. So I would love to see, beyond this series, they go on to win a championship. But just for this series specifically, talk about Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards, well, not specific to this series, last season, was heavily touted for having knocked off Kevin Durant and the Phoenix Suns. Slayed him, knocked him out first round. Talk shit while he was doing it. Big shit. Talk cash shit while he was doing it. Yeah. And then they go play, team up in the Olympics this past summer. He spent more time. I remember him being incredibly jovial about it. Still being able to talk shit to Durant in practice. Got a chance to work out some. He talked about his shooting, drills with Steph, and how, man, he was hanging in there right with Steph, which I think gave him confidence coming into this season, which is why he led the league in 3-point makes this season, because he took to heart, like, yo, like straight up, I'm as good a shooter as Steph, and his, based on what he experienced in those practices, he believed it, and he came out and, at least from a makes standpoint, proved it in this previous basketball season. He also got a chance to team up with LeBron James. He knocked off Kevin Durant last year, knocked off LeBron James in the first round this year. Steph Curry, his Olympic teammate, he's facing up against in this series. If Anthony Edwards is in the Minnesota Timberwolves, obviously, because it's a team sport, it's not just him by himself. But if he's able to knock off Steph, knock off whomever in the next round, and then go up, because he'd have to knock off in the next round, he'd have to knock off like either the Joker or Shea, right? In the Western Conference Finals to make it to the finals. And then he'd have to get up to the finals and knock off either Jason Tatum and those boys, or knock off the boys from Cleveland, or knock off Indiana if they should happen to do it, in New York if they should happen to do it. But if he happens to knock off, you know what I mean, like a JT, the defending champions with the C's, or knocked off Cleveland, who's been odds-on favorite all year, having won the Eastern Conference. This would be the most historic. This would literally be, from what just that I've ever witnessed, the most historic run to a championship that I've ever seen. Just knocking off greats, just great after great after great after great. But that excites me about this series. I expect it to be a great series, according to the odds makers. The Wolves are the favorite in this series. And they're favored by 6.5 points. So if you're a gambler, I normally don't do this. I don't want to be responsible for anybody doing anything that they shouldn't be doing with their finances. But if you're a gambler, and you love yourself some Golden State, and you think that Golden State will take this game tonight, you know what I mean? They're plus 205. 10 will get you 20. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, it's 2-1 favorites. But 6.5 points too, man. Like, damn, if Golden State loses this game, are they going to lose by 7? You know what I'm saying? Like, they can lose. It's only going to be by like 4. So I think 4 or 5 points. So I think the 6.5 points is sweet, personally. Golden State very well may go on to beat them straight up. So I think even if Golden State loses, they're not going to get smashed. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to get blown out. That's just not going to happen. I could be wrong, of course. It's called gambling for a reason. So gamble responsibly. The over and under in this game is 210.5. So yeah, I'm excited to see that game. Last but not least, game 2 kicks off tonight of the Indiana Pacers and the Cleveland Cavaliers rematch from Sunday's upset. And much like I said before, the odds makers have the Cavaliers 7.5 points favorites in the game. So if you're a lover of Indiana and you believe what you saw the other night, you might believe 8 points is way too many points to give them if you think they're going to win straight up. Take them straight up 10 to get you 26. But 229.5 points total points for this game. I think that's way too many points. Even though Indiana is a pace-setting team, Pacers, right? But they love to get up and down, get up and down, get up and down. But I just feel like Cleveland's going to come out and play a little more tough defense tonight. But I think this will be a low scoring, not low scoring, but 230, like 115, essentially, is what it will have to do to eclipse that, or somewhere in the 116, 114. So in that high scoring range. I just don't see that many points being scored tonight. And I could be wrong about that. Again, it's called gambling for a reason. Don't take my advice. This is just me talking through it. I think that if Cleveland's going to win, they're going to come out and try to make a statement tonight for sure. But again, that would have to mean that they put the clamps on Indiana defensively, which would mean if they were able to do that, then they could win by more than 8 points. They'd have to literally shut this Indiana team down to win by double digits, right? They have to just squeeze the life out of these kids to keep the clamps on them. So I think the 8 points might be sweet. I think the 8 points is worth taking if you're a gambler and you want to win some money tonight. I would take Indiana with the 8 points. I'm just saying. But yeah, excited to see these games. Nevertheless, the matchups are the matchups. Not sure if Darius Garland's going to play or not. He might be with that 8 points that they're giving out. But these odds are in accordance to FanDuel Sportsbook. FanDuel Sportsbook is not a sponsor of this channel. Regard, cut the check. But yeah, that's been the basis of this episode. So, man, NBA playoff second round, upset city. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Leave your comments and opinions in the comments section. Like the video if you haven't done so already. Subscribe to the channel as well, man. I cannot wait to see these games tonight. I will catch you guys in the next episode. Until then, take care of yourselves. Blessings.